about that. I was going to say my gut feeling is this is likely Morgana in that carry role to give you some magic damage, but we'll talk about that with the last pick. Nunu picked up, and in my view, what this kind of does is it buys zone control. Like that absolute zero from Nunu in a team fight can just deny a lot of engage potential, and Formulation trying to play a little bit more disengage. Picking up an Aurelia for extra side lane too.
Yeah, Aurelia has also made some appearances here and there during the past few weeks, but today's purpose is completely different. I'm seeing in her potentially the main carry over the team. If you look at the rest of the composition, you've got a Jace who's going to provide a little bit of tankiness there. You've got the Thresh for the zoning, the Nunu versus the Assassins, which works really well with the biggest snowball ever. And just to complete Mood Gaming's conversation, there goes Bram. He's been kind of forgotten and/or banned in the past few games. Got full confidence that he'll be able to make it back in this one.
Yeah, I feel like this Braum kind of brings an immediate, cancel to Nunu's ultimate. He's one of the one champions in that support role that are like, you're ulting? No, you're not ulting anymore. I'm going to allow my assassins to get through the back. Because you can see the Rakan and the Alistar are banned already, so trying to take away some of that engage. Braum mostly known as a disengaged champion outside of the laning phase, so I want to see how that plays off. For me, I'm looking at Formulation, I'm seeing Jace, I'm seeing Aurelia, and then I'm seeing 3 champions that are good at holding people at a range. So I'm looking at them doing a 1-3-1 setup on the side of Formulation. And then Mood, I don't really know where to place it. It's a little bit of a more strange composition, right? There's some engage, some disengage, some assassin. Very different.
It's what doesn't quite get me into the composition because of that same reason. I feel like we are going in way too many different directions, and if you really want to be able to fight this Formulation gaming composition, you're going to need something else. You're going to need a frontliner. You're going to need something stronger to be able to bring out all the damage that you're going to need as the time goes on in game. So that raises a few questions, maybe even a few red flags for me. But that's what it is, right? This is one rift, and anything and everything can happen. It's the best of 2. If you lose the first map, you can get to the second one. So just be calm, be cool, and enjoy the game because we're going right into this stress.
We are on to the rift for game 1 between Formulation and Mood, and there is an immediate invade against this Nunu. I think we always have to keep track of when you've got Zed Lee Sin, that's a really strong 2 versus 1 catch potential. People die immediately to that combination. So that's one strength of Mood if they can get it going that I think will always be reliable after the early game. However, it's just going to be Mood backing away. Formulation are going to kind of steady themselves, get that Nunu a little bit into the game, and get Kim out rolling on this.
Yeah, for now, we see quite a standard thing here, but with the junglers standing up closer on opposite sides of the map, that's to be said. But, I mean, you can clearly see what the plan is here. For Nunu, the plan will be to give Jace an Aurelia advantage in their levels, whereas Baluz is more focused on giving both Melistar and Fekko, oh my gosh, with Melistar and Bali, that little bit of an advantage later on. So we'll see how that plays out. Well, now you can see there's some rotations already. Thresh going on but to the mid lane to secure that good vision in the river area, getting the Scuttlecraft down. And honestly, I think things are looking good for them. No action so far, but you can see how Mood Gaming is trying to counter up with that in the top lane.
I didn't know that's how you make snow crab. You roll a giant snowball into it. But Nunu going for the bottom side crab. Easy pick off. They already had seen Lee Sin. Lee Sin, knowing he was on a ward top side, says, okay, we'll trade scuttles. It's all good. So one of the things that's really difficult against a Nunu, and this is very basics of Nunu gameplay, is it's so hard to have objective control against a Nunu. Even the likes of Lee Sin is you're never really going to beat Nunu in a smite fight. So you basically have to take any objective you can. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Baluz avoid going for the same objective as Kimau quite often in this match.
It's also because Nunu is more objective-oriented, whereas Baluz's Lee Sin is more a pick champion, Lee Sin fits better into those kind of compositions, which you mentioned earlier with Zed also being on the team. Now, I want to see how these Morgana and Braum will work together, because you can expect loads of rotations around the map, but will be effective once things start rolling, because you can't only really rely on the set and the set. So I am expecting those things to happen. And now I want to take a look at the summoners as well. You can see the WREC from Jay has been up there, Ignite from Aurelia to provide, that last touch when you're about to kill someone. Barrier from Ziggs as well, indicating a little bit of fear towards this potential incoming damage from Mid Gaming. And nothing really surprising me from the red side. I know you see something out of place, which I do. Now I'm seeing two people here in the bush trying to start something.
But Formulation knew that this was coming. Here comes the lantern out as Jason does get blocked as he's trying to get out of under the tower, and Set picks up the first kill. Here comes the Hextech bomb from Ziggs, and first kill goes over on either side. And I mean, I thought Formulation had read it perfectly. They were already in position with Thresh and Nunu, but a good cancel it looked like on the lantern in order to pick up that kill onto UI.
I mean, in this one case, we're going to see the replay right here. We're talking about them being the Bosch, but take a close look at Ziggs at this moment in time. Also, Nunu arriving with the biggest novel ever. That allows you for so much outplay potential, just like here.
Yeah, Don is going to be able to get himself out from under the dragon. Rift Herald has been started up by Formulation, so this is kind of what we were talking about, avoiding Formulation. That whole start of that play looked like Zed was the one that was caught out. Oh, that's the shot blast going to pick up the kill. Isn't quite in time to get the dragon at that point, but a big shot blast kill onto Zed, and that was Razor sticking around after being so low.
It was quite interesting, quite a little bit of a misplay, like you want to stay around, especially at the Baron Pit, oh my gosh, at the Dragon Pit, where you've got no escape whatsoever. And you can still see how the first items are arriving, but yet we had some sort of initiation on values on this listen. Didn't get anywhere, but as I was saying, Luden's Echo going there already for Bali, the AD carry AP carry in this case for Mood Gaming. You can also see the Bacteria figures for Jace, for Lizin. So minute 5, it's about time that this was about to happen. Also, only 1.5K difference between Formulation Gaming and Mood Gaming.
Yeah, that goal difference is swinging up and down as they absorb waves. And for those of you that perhaps haven't watched a lot of competitive Wild Rift and think, wow, this is very different to how my solo queue games. Like, yep, competitive, typically you swap these mages that are played in the bottom lane in the current meta into the middle lane in order to just wave clear constantly. Like, mid tower and mid wave is a fundamental basic of both League of Legends and Wild Rift, and that's the whole reason you do it, is you pick these wave clear champions, you can't break them very easily, and it allows the rest of your team to have presence on the map. And it's opportunities like this where you can kind of come into middle lane like Formulation are doing, and then back down into bottom lane. They're looking for an opening, but that's a binding that lands onto Nunu. It's going to be the end of that exchange. Nothing really more to follow up on this. But yeah, that's the strength of having your bottom lane is in middle lane.
I mean, you've got Morgana Biden, you've got the double D, well, in this case, not double D, the second ability, allowing you to slow down your enemies, and the Braum as well to keep the enemies at bay. So, obviously, quite a good position to disengage and prevent them from taking down each tower, which could have been the case right now. Formulation Gaming doesn't really stop, do they?
Yeah, Herald used the middle lane, didn't actually crack the tower though, which makes it a little tricky because this Morgana will hold the tower. Might need second Rift Herald to actually do that. So you might see Mood contest second Rift Herald once they've got a few items and once they can actually look to pick people off. UI may be caught in the top side, but here comes Nunu, going to snowball his way up. Snowball doesn't quite hit, doesn't get the spare off that one, as now it's going to be Kamau backed away. Absolute Zero will not pick up the kill, and it is Mood Gaming starting to run away a little bit with these exchanges, but it's still the gold lead going to Formulation down behind the tower as Don is going to try and get on to Morgana, but that's a great binding. The Ziggs will pick up that low health tower. Mega Inferno Bomb is not going to quite catch on anybody as there isn't a disengage from Mood. Oh, the Lantern goes out, but Don actually jumps forward to get the kill and then lanterns himself away, manages to get it, and Formulation, they've managed to steady the ship a little bit. They get tower first blood. They will lose a tower on the bottom side, but this is a very even game so far.
I mean, that play was just amazing. I thought they were going to cut to Morgana, but in the end, There was no way I really would have banged World's Edge right there in order to strike this kill. However, if you look at the kill distribution, you will realize that in the case of Moods Gaming, it's mainly been falling on the bot lane, which, if we're being honest, it doesn't matter as much as is play we're seeing here now. So you've got two elemental members for Formulation Gaming sacrificing themselves. For what? They don't get a kill in here. I mean, it's quite sad that we're seeing this happening. Whereas for Mood Gaming, Morgan and Bram are the ones being killed over and over, so not such a big loss.
Yeah, that tower going over to Ziggs, just managing to take advantage of that Rift Child. From here, this is done. Like, when the Lantern goes out, I'm like, okay, he's gonna just Lantern out, he'll be fine. He knows he's got the opportunity to get that kill, and at this point, Formulation is gonna try and contest the dragon. That Rift Herald is up, is no longer such a big priority in the sense of mid tower, but there are more towers to get, and they will be able to secure it for Jace. Mega Inferno Bomb comes out, does a little bit of damage, but already Formulation are backing themselves away. They've already got themselves out. Nunu is pinged onto the dragon. They're a little low on the side of Formulation, and Moods still have a lot of healthy members.
Well, at least not only low in HP, but also in ultimates. You didn't have 6 Mega Inferno Bomb, you didn't have the box from Thresh, so that's going to be an issue if they do want to fight it. The ones that do want to get it right now are Mid Gaming heading towards the dragon. They've got good vision, but be careful because they will be trying flanking there from the side of the red blue team.
Flay comes back. Damage comes out from Thresh, and they're, oh, don't quite land the hook. Won't really continue here as Kimau, he had to burn his flash on a gank attempt in the bottom lane, and now probably has to think twice about standing there for absolute zero. I think this is going to be, for now, a disengage, and now is when you let Jace ramp up this damage from afar. Use the ability one, the shock blast to come through. Use the Ziggs bombs as well. Just try and get damage down before this objective.
And yet be the key here. And that's exactly what they're trying to do right now, collecting experience there in the jungle. The dragon is still on the rift, not being taken by Mood Gaming. They know what expects them if they try to start it, might be baited. There we go, they're not afraid to fight. Formulation Gaming now have the option. Do we push mid lane? Do we go for the dragon? It is all decision, but the ball is arriving.
Yeah, they're going to try and get Nunu into the fight without smite. Yeah, sorry, without flash. It's a little harder for him to close that distance in a last-minute attempt. Dark Binding doesn't quite land. They pull the dragon all the way out. This is going to reset and back themselves away. Here's where the Rift Herald can get work done, though. Between Rift Herald and Ziggs, if they can continuously get 1 or 2 charges off here, you might be able to deal critical damage. But they're going to use it as a distraction, try and get the dragon at the same time. From here, it should be really difficult for Mood to actually stop this play happening. So trading Rift Herald in exchange for getting Ocean Drake, that's their first of the game for Formulation.
Yeah, something that is also, I want to talk about it, is Yerma's got splayed. After the serrated Dirk nerf, people were discussing, is it still gonna be meta? Are people gonna build it first item? And we're seeing that the answer is yes. They're still building in first itemization. Also, talking about Zed, did you see the Black Cleaver never leaves the meta, does it?
No, everything's just League of Cleavers right now, and Razor might be in a little bit of trouble as Don is going to try and get through to him. We talked a little bit about Zed and Lee Sin. They haven't really found a lot of presence together that we were expecting from them. Lee Sin does have 2 kills, but the Zed has really struggled to get into the game, and I think the longer these fights go, that's a double stun. Great start to it, and now that's going to push Baloo's out of it. Mega Inferno Bomb gets a lot of people low, but nobody's there to clean up. If UI can get that for some Shock Blast, they might be able to do it, but it's going to be Don picking up the first one. Shock Blast is going to hit minions, won't be able to continue. Does land another stun, and Don goes in. That's low health targets. That's perfect for an Irelia. Forced to stasis, though. Under the tower is Don in order to stay alive. Low health bars on Formulation, but I don't really think that they can capitalize on this. Mid tower did go down as UI is going to try and duel against Halil. There's a big shield, but manages to sidestep that extra damage from the middle part of Set's shield and does pick up the kill. 4 members of Formulation stand strong in the middle lane, and they're able to get a lot of gold from that exchange.
I tell you, I was kind of worried about who was going to be carrying the team for Mood Gaming, and as you said, said, isn't really doing much. You can say in the play here, the snowball to stop him doesn't quite hit, but it makes him have to go away, walk back a little bit. Then the Mega Informer Bomb, again, being used as zoning device rather than as an actual skill. And then it's pure chaos. Braum can't do much. He's the main tank of the team, taking the front lane there. The ultimates are just flying, as well as the box from Thresh, and Morgana is hiding behind the tower. There's not much that you can do at this point. You're gonna get the kill, and then Halil ends up being dead as well. So yeah, a little bit of a drama from Mood Gaming taking place right now on the Rift. But we'll see if they can recover.
Close. Oh, we're into a fight already as Don's going to get Lantern back out. Catches him during the kick. Sonic Wave follow-up was nearly enough, but they've stuck around a little bit too long. Don is dropping, does get him a little bit of a heal through, as now Zawa has to back away, but he's bought enough time for the rest of the team to get there. UI was bound for a while there, and now it's the stasis coming out from Morgana. Won't be enough to keep her alive, and Nunu is going to run this one down through the jungle. Doesn't quite catch it. Sonic Wave hits, doesn't get the hook on for a second time, but Formulation are continuing to just ramp up this pressure. Now UI under the tower to the skies and out to the jungle with the Lantern, as Kamau is going to tank up the tower for just a moment longer. They are going to be able to de-push this wave, so Mood will stabilize a little in that bottom lane, but all of these exchanges are going to Formulation.
I just want to appreciate how amazing the biggest novel ever was from Fumiya. Like, that snowball, whether it impacted anything or not, it managed to split the team up. Like, you had Zed on one side, you left Baluz on the other side, he ends up getting killed. So it did a quite good job in doing this in a small enclosed area, which is not the important point. What are you gonna fight? In this case, right here, why not in front of Baron, trying to protect it from any initiatives from the team of Mood Gaming, who now have to think really well about what they want to do, because they're in no position to try and counter this. Like, they really have to calculate their steps moving forward if they don't want to lose a game, because we know
they're going to rush the Baron. They're going to rush it. They know that Nunu's likely down on that dragon.
They damage is way too low. Coming too slowly. I'm not sure it's stress.
I mean, Mood have the, I was going to say Formulation have the crab. Now they definitely know. I'm sure people have just shown, but look, it nearly gets the steal timing off of Formulation, this Fecko, but now look, everybody's so low. A couple of members of Mood are going to get out. I think this is actually such a perfect call from them. You said they have to think carefully about it, and they were like, okay, well, Nunu, we're going to assume is going to go to Dragon, and they cannot fight us without all of the members of Formulation. So this at least should slow a little bit of the push, but with 2 dead, is that too much of a sacrifice from Mood to be able to pick up that Baron?
Not just everyone. You didn't have the Glacial Fissure from Braum anymore up until in about 20 seconds. Halil is gonna be out of sight. This set that is so important for the entirety of the team. Just to walk out dressed like now.
Does get banned. There's the hook down onto Morgana. Forces the stasis, and maybe Mood are buying time here if they can stay alive and kite back. But look, it's just not enough to keep Morgana alive. I keep thinking if they just can get a little bit more, Mood might be able to actually pull back into this one, but they just are losing too much too quickly.
Indeed, and this might be constant in the game. If you ignore the actual gold, if you ignore the kills, don't ignore them, because they are taking place right now.
Teleport coming through. This might be the fight if they can get it, as Halil is not quite in a position to actually capitalize here. It's going to be Razor. Good stun onto 2 from Don, and now in goes Set. Tries to get that suplex to work for him, but they're just a little too far behind. They're a little too tanky. There's a couple of kills, but everybody's such low health bars onto Mood's side of things, and the Lantern is going to pull them closer to get Razor and try and take it down. Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't quite pick off Baluz. Oh, got it. I thought he was going to get out. I thought Baluz had it with the Empowered Recall, but just enough from a whip from Zawa. Picks up his 3rd kill of the game, and really, Formulation is starting to take full control.
I thought he could get away. I was rooting for him. No pun intended. I'm so sad about it. But hey, there's still time to recover, right? We're 17 minutes in, just 2 towers behind, 2 dragons, about 10k of gold. Yeah. So So
yeah, it's kind of one of those games where it was close for a while, and now Formulation have just found a bunch of objectives. I thought Mood's Baron play may have been enough, but this fight going kind of shows us how far ahead Formulation are.
Yeah, even if Feko was a little bit behind in this one, you see how each one of the members of Mood Gaming had to run away immediately because of all the amount of CC that Formulation Gaming has in their hands, and in the end, Razor is the only one who makes it outside alive. I'm so sad. Once again, I have to repeat it. But hey, everything else is going well. I'm so happy about it. I'm happy about the level that these two teams are showing instead of the stomps that we saw yesterday. So, whatever happens, it's been a fun game that might as well be ending soon, because look at them. Look at Formulation Gaming, 26 seconds until the Baron appears. This might be, the last 2 minutes perhaps for Stress.
Yeah, this Baron is going to be a whole lot harder for Mood to actually have any presence around. This time is going to be all Formulation. I mean, Elder is up in 30 seconds. It feels like Mood are doing that game of avoiding the Nunu, but I think this one you have to contest. I think they'll do this Baron too quickly to not contest it. Now, Kamau isn't there. They don't have their jungler there yet, but there's no real way of Mood knowing this. It's already down to half health. Mood, they're going to lose Baron, and they're likely to lose Elder from this position. 2,000 health on it. I don't think they're going to get anywhere close. That's around that safe spot for Nunu to start consuming, and now they're going to roll over down to that Drake and look to take it. Set up. If Halil can get an engage, this might be enough. Oh, Don's going to go in. We'll catch 3 with the ultimate. That's low health bars. They don't even need the Elder Drake at this point. It's just going to be the end of it as Formulation will push through with the Baron minions. Hook does land off the flash. That's a double kill for UI, and Formulation are going to take game 1 of this series against Mood Gaming and make it look super easy in the process in this late game. Nunu objective control too strong.
Well, there we go, 20 minutes in. Formulation Gaming taking the first win. You said it wasn't. You lied to us, friends.
I didn't lie. I said it was difficult to play, and I maintain that, especially in this composition. Now, Vayne outranges, right? Jarvan, I think, fixes some of her issues by allowing you to kind of put a bunch of walls in between, but Vayne is going to need so much time in this game.
Wow. And with Thresh. Okay, Jarvan completing the roster for Mood Gaming. Once again, I feel like something is not quite okay. I have to see. Okay, this is something I'm really excited about. I mean, I'm always excited, right? But Akshan, we talked about it in the pre-show section when we were talking between ourselves, pretending to get along well, which we actually did today.
Pretending? I'm offended. I am offended. I thought it was genuine.
You should
anyway,
be.
Let's talk about Akshan.
Yeah. So. I was like, why is he not being played lately? And then I looked at the stats for the CIS league, and I was like, this guy is up there, top 3 with Darius. So why isn't he being picked here? So I like that Formulation Gaming have taken some notes out of there. I also like to think that because Formulation Gaming's coach, Mavila, is Spanish, or he might be like, I feel like between coaches and players there's a lot of communication amongst different regions, so I'd like to think that it comes from there. He was like, let's bring this one pick over to Europe and see how it works, and we'll have to see it once we go in game. Stress.
So we didn't get the swap arounds too much in that draft. We'll find exactly where everything's going, because there's some question marks over Formulation, whether the action will be going in the mid lane, whether it will be going in the bottom lane. The Formulation have a lot of flexibility there. This Vayne is the key to the game for Mood, in the sense of, in my opinion, almost nobody on the side of Formulation Gaming has that late game scaling. Akshan can do damage, but it's not a matchup that I'm very familiar with. But I feel like Vayne outscales pretty heavily basically every other AD carry in the game. So if they can get Vayne into the late game, it should be enough. We are on to the Rift for game number 2 between Mood and Formulation. This is a very different playstyle, and it is Feko on that Galio in the bottom lane with Zauer's set, and it's Akshan in that middle lane. Can you give him that lane presence? But it's top lane right now that we're looking at is there has been that support roam to try and shut down UI early on from Mood.
Didn't make it, so we didn't talk about it. well, we could talk about it, but anyways, something interesting. We're gonna have 2 hook shots, one on Akshan, another one on Camille. By the way, this game seems to be a lot more proactive than any other. Oh my gosh! Okay.
Yeah, Feko is going to invade on the Krugs and try and push Baloo's back away, but this is a moment that like Vayne can weather the early game for now. It is difficult for Set and Galio to actually engage on a ranged champion this early on, and with Thresh with the Lantern, that might very well be enough to keep this bottom lane safe. But once they got those ultimates, that's where this bottom lane can really punish. Being able to roam, being able to engage, getting a lot of damage down.
I also think Diane is going to get a lot of attention from Jarvan, but I'll tell you later about it because her little was in trouble right there. There we go. Let them drink water.
Facebreaker is going to deal damage, but Zaura is only level 2, as is Thresh right now. It is Mellow Star going under the pseudonym Assault System in this game. Baloo's is up on the top side, as is Kimau, and Akshan's being pushed in. Don has to kind of stay under his tower for now. We'll finally be able to roam up, because we may be able to get engaged.
As well, Stress. Oh my gosh. So many things happening. Good vision from Formulation Gaming. There we go once again. But you were talking about it as well. You said it. The Lantern from Thresh going to be saving Vayne from lots of this kind of difficult engages. Come from Formulation Gaming. Also, look at this. Okay, Reese. I thought this champion, Diana, will have a more difficult time versus Akshan, but I didn't think about the potential here. Oh my gosh.
Engage comes through as UI forced to jump back out. That was the Cataclysm used by Baloo's. And yeah, Razor had traded time out of lane in exchange for Don catching his wave under the tower. So Don had the experience advantage, and basically like, Akshan, you think you're safe, and then his ult comes out and suddenly you die, unless you can get behind a turret. So it's kind of difficult to balance that with this Diana lane, but yeah, Razor's doing okay for now.
I mean, as he should be, because later in the game, he's going to be the main carry also. That discuss what this lane potential has between Galio and Set. You've got some melee, you've got some range with Galio, but most importantly, you've got loads of zoning coming from both of them. So if they manage to keep this going, then they're going to have to push inevitably, but gaming down into the tower with no escape. I mean, they can't escape like Thresh is doing right now by rotating, leaving Vayne kinda alone, kinda squishy target. We'll see how that goes. But the next objective on the map is a dragon. Will they fight it? Will they divide it? Objectives, one for the Herald, one for the dragon. That's yet to be seen.
Ooh, hook hits. I think it might have even been blind onto Zaura. They knew he was in the bush, but I don't think they knew exactly where. But yeah, you can leave Vayne alone a little bit in this lane because you're into double melee. As long as Vayne plays in a smart way, between Tumble and Condemn, you generally can play safe, as long as like Thresh is hovering bot lane every so often. And that's what Mellow Star or Assault System has been trying to do, is roam out of the jungle, try and get this Jarvan through the game. Neutral objectives are about to start spawning, and this is the problem that the Vayne has in the current meta, and this is something I wanted to talk about, is Vayne cannot wave clear effectively. She sits in mid lane and she has to consistently attack minions, and we've seen teams that pick Vayne run aground on this as well, whereas picks like the Galio, like the Akshan, can wave clear a lot easier. Like Akshan's ability 1 just bounces through the wave. Galio's clears it out as well. So there are a lot better options in the current meta for Formulation off their mid lane wave clearers in this game.
I agree with you completely, or at least I try to. But we're watching this top lane, you know, quite more intense than what we used to, you know, and also because this Herald is up on the Rift, and it seems like both teams have chosen the same objective to go for. Also, given that the first dragon doesn't seem to be that cool, it's not Inferno Dragon, so we can let it be. Oh my gosh, that's scary stress.
Baloo's caught out. The Lantern's actually going to bring Vayne up to the top side of the fight, reposition around. And I know that Razor has been trading with Feko this entire time, but Razor now has walked himself into a 5-man stack of Formulation. They're going to be able to push the mid wave back out. Feko will go down towards the bottom side again, because remember that Galio ultimate is available. He'll actually recall and get a lot of his health back. There's the Flay coming through as UI was caught for a moment. Darius tries to get the ability 1 to land, and Camille is pushing topside at the same time. This could be a first tower, depending on how much damage has been done to that. Camille has been wailing on it. 2 plates down already.
Well, there we go. No kills so far, which is quite interesting. It's a level of aggressivity that we've been chin. And what the heck failed?
That was slick. That was slick. Kamau went for the explosive cask. Halil used the Hextech ultimatum on top of it to make sure that he didn't get blasted back, and then just walks away from the engage. Trades ultimate for ultimate, and now it's UI that's going to try and catch on towards Balooz. They've done enough damage. It will open the Rift Herald. This could be used mid to try and push that down and make even more pressure against this Vayne.
Something I talked about earlier, but I think it was about something else. Sorry, I've got memory problems. The key here was that Camille, I was reading that as well. As you said, Camille can be easily dissuaded from using her ultimate with champions that are really good at disengage, like this Galio. But basically, anything that will allow you to stop the ultimate is viable. You know, just kick her out of the area, get done with it. Even Poppy's ultimate will be able to do it. So that's quite interesting, as well as the optimization that we are witnessing already. We can see the 3-4s going on for Camille. Luden's Echo is quite trendy right now, going on between any AP champions. And you know what's trending right now as well? Fighting each other, dueling each other, like in this case.
Yeah, UI is going to have help from Zawa as they pick up that Camille, and we'll get first blood. It's a late first blood, 7 minutes into the game. We'd already seen Dragon and Rift Herald taken by the time first blood actually happened, and now with Rift Herald in this middle lane, there's only 2 people from Mood here. There's the explosive cast. Will be enough as Akshan manages to get away from this fight. So does Kamau on such little health. Here comes Fekko going in. This is the damage down from that Akshan, and there's the entrance from Galio to be able to pick up another kill. Gragas, I should say, is trying to get out his Kamau. Wasn't picked off by Balooz, and Balooz has to back himself away. Couldn't get the kill. Now he's in trouble because Fekko is around, who will be chased by Halil. They're going to back away. It will be 3 kills, 2 towers, a Drake, and a Rift Herald, all from this game, from Formulation. This is how the fight started.
Yeah, we can see here the Herald being defocused, the center of attention here, the hero's entrance from Galio being really helpful, pushing them a little bit under the lane, under the tower, but then they have to retreat because there is nothing else they can do, and also they lose the first turret being taken by Mood Gaming. So, in short stress, Mood Gaming, they are taking baby steps, while Formulation Gaming seems to be around 3 years old, if we are comparing, Formulation Gaming knows how to walk, how to run, but gaming is still learning those things, and they wonder why, because they've played together in the past. So I'm wondering what the synergy might be missing.
Well, this Formulation Gaming is the one we saw in Purge in January, and in my opinion, along with Game Lord, they were dictating the type of meta that was being played, at least from the teams that we saw. In Purge, RICs were struggling. There were a few other big-name teams that weren't there, and what we saw from Formulation was really, really hard to deal with, and we're seeing exactly that from Mood now. It's like, this Vayne is already having to buy Mercury Treads to try and get some of that tenacity down. I wouldn't be overly surprised to see a QSS or a Stasis come out to try and get free from that taunt, to try and just survive through, because this Vayne is basically the entire thing that Mood are relying on. Because look, Camille's getting blasted away from this fight. Diana's not having so much presence on the game yet either. I mean, Mood need a team fight to go their way if they want to turn this one back around, but look at how good Formulation are at just disengaging from this team fight. Mood can't close the gap.
They can't, because you've got Diana. If you want to go all in with Diana, who's gonna follow up? You've got no one to do it. Oh gosh.
Zawa is going to try and get it. There's the apprehend as Set tries very much to hold on to Thresh for the kill, but it actually goes over to the teammate of UI. Darius picking up just another kill as Zawa. He's fine supporting. He's just fine getting tanky. And Fekka was already roaming over to that mid lane to get in range for the ultimate with Galio. This fight's just going to continue as UI is going to chase him back under the tower. It's Galio going up against Halil in this top side. This is bot lane AP carry going up against Camille. But Fekko has the lead on experience, and will just use that heroic exit, I guess we can call it, as Formulation to steady themselves for the second Rift Herald.
I love the name, Hero's Exit. I'm just gonna leave, I'll leave you here with your issues. I'm gonna stay away. But Halil hasn't quite gotten the message. Or maybe he does. But anyways, the thing is, the hell has been taken by Formulation Gaming, while the next dragon, the Inferno Dragon, is spawning in the back 20 seconds for Mood Gaming. Will they try to fight it? They have to wave clear this first wave of minions attacking them, and then we might talk about something else. But for now, the gold advantage of 5k is causing quite a chaos in this one game.
Well, you're exactly right about clearing the wave, because here's what happens in mid lane is when you don't have wave clear, this enemy minion wave pushes up past your raptor camp, and it means that now Formulation just have vision control of at least 2 members of Mood. They know that they can start the dragon. It gives Zawa the presence to take a step into this bush, and despite the fact that Mood know he's there, there's nothing they can do from this situation, because you either engage past the set and get caught, or you just let them take the dragon. And here's the set, catching them out, and forces the flag and drag away from Jarvan. That's going to open up the dragon for themselves. Zawa, don't know whether he was trying to go over the wall with that explosive plant, but didn't quite make it anyway.
Well, you know, sometimes you got tried and just tried, and if it doesn't work, to try again. You know, it's a good philosophy teaching here from Mid Gaming. Talking about them, that getting their blue stolen, not in the end though. You've got Akshan that just roaming a little bit around the map. But now the question is, where will they try to fight again? Because for Akshan, the best place to fight is somewhere where you got like walls nearby that you can actually just jump from them. You know, open spaces, not the best place for him to be at. So we're gonna have to be witnessing this. We've got the stats for set on the screen, surprisingly low, 112 for him, and oh, his pace is fine.
Important ward to block out Zawa. Zawa's doing a good job of hiding in bushes and just trying to find anybody. Yeah, these enclosed spaces are not only where Akshan wants to fight, but like Galio wants to fight there, Darius wants to fight there. Like, they want to fight anybody in the chokes that they can. That's the situation that Formulation are like, well, we can just get AoE damage off really easily, and there is damage that's going to come from this Galio. Rod of Ages into Morellonomicon cuts through all of the healing that is attempted by this Vayne. Is Vayne on Wit's End as well as Blade of the Rune King. Needs at least another item before I start even thinking Vayne's going to get into this game, and that's going to require a team fight going over to Mood and getting at least like 2 or 3 kills over to Vayne. But at this point, Formulation are tearing them across the map, and UI has found Razor, forces the flash out. UI will take that.
Once again, in this game, I'm wondering who was supposed to be the center of the composition, because you've got Vayne, Diana, Jarvan, and Camille. Who were the resources being planned to go to? Like, that's an entire question that hasn't been answered just yet, because the Vayne, as you said, not doing much. I mean, no kills yet for Mood Gaming. Whereas if you look at Formulation Gaming, you can clearly see UI with the Darius has been the recipient of all these things. So that's another issue. By the way, failed hit bar there.
Kamau has found Mellowstar, will pick up the kill. Heroic Entrance is in time, and this is 2 fights across the map. Normally you only take 1 fight at a time, but Formulation is so far ahead, they're able to just keep this one going. In goes Feckle, will hold 1 in place, taunted into the X channel, picks up a kill for Kamau, and this is just going from bad to worse for Mood. 7-0 is the kill score on this game. They're going to turn towards the Baron.
Well, 14 minutes in, almost 10k of difference. But the fun thing here is somehow the game is being able to take towers away from Formulation Gaming, indicating that maybe against bigger teams, the red side team, so Formulation would be doing so well, but we'll have to wait and see if we actually win this game. We've seen comebacks from this kind of situations all the time, and this is a lie, by the way, but I'm trying to hype up Mood Gaming a little bit, you know. So yeah, let's see what they can do. They're gonna be sieged by Formulation. Will they survive? Won't they survive? I mean, they've got no tools to actually all in, try to pick some kills in there. I don't know, Stress. At this
it's
point
kind of funny. Like,
yeah.
These towers have gone down in a way because of the strength of Formulations, the way that they want to play. Like, what happens is you have the Galio out on the side lane against like either Camille or Diana. We saw this in one of the last fights. And then Galio just goes, see ya, we're going to go win the fight, and leaves the opponent in lane. And they've had like Camille and Diana taking time, and they're like, well, I guess we'll take a tower as a consolation prize for losing the fight and losing the objective. So I appreciate wanting to hype up Mood so much, but Mood's game so far, I think has unfortunately been forced out very well by Formulation. Like, Formulation knew they would force Mood onto a hyper carry, and then they just punished them like this with this heavy team fight comp, because this Vayne needs more time. Vayne does not have time in this game to scale up if Formulation keep the fight going.
Time and resources. She's not as independent as someone like to be out.
Double apprehend into the explosive cask, and there is the end of time for Mellow Star. It's going to be Tower going down in the middle lane. They've already taken one in the top lane, and Formulation are going to wrap this game up. Apprehend hits again. There's the Cataclysm to try and stay through it, but Galio is going to make his heroic entrance. Finally, one kill on the board for Mood, and I think it's going to be a kill in exchange for the Nexus in this series, as Don has, however, been caught. Maybe this was an overreach from Formulation. They still have managed to deal a ton of damage here, but can they pick up a couple of kills? Maybe this is enough for them to be able to take it. No, here comes Kamau, going to shut that comeback down right before it starts, as it's another kill going over to Formulation. They still have Baron buff minions for a moment or two longer, as it will despawn. Formulation may have to reset here, but they're going to take at least 2 inhibitors. They're looking for the third.
Sure? I think they can close the game if they want to. They've got the wave in the middle, they've got the wave in the bot lane arriving as well. They should be in a good position, but once again, they're not paying attention to me, so they're going to be back in away. Finish the game. Thank you very much. Of course, you've destroyed the towers. What else do you need?
I mean, for those of you that play Vayne in solo queue, you are like licking your lips at 3 players overextending to try and take the Nexus down on low health. Like, that's Vayne City, where you're like, okay, I'll just heal up and I'll get 3 kills here, and you won't close the game, and we'll come back into it. So you got to play it out carefully. The next Baron's coming up as well from Formulation. They're going to be able to take this very easy because the minions take it down. Sour is fighting 1 versus 2 in the jungle at this point. It's too far ahead for Formulation, as they're going to be able to now fight 3 versus 4. Are they going to be able to survive through this? This might be an overstep here. Out comes the Darius ultimate. It wasn't enough to pick up that first kill, but there's enough damage coming through from Formulation, and while Vayne has picked up 1 kill, I don't know that it's going to be enough to do anything to turn this game back around, as with 3 inhibitors down and now 2 members of Mood down. Formulation should be able to just clinically end this game, and they're on the hunt. Formulation are looking for the last few kills to shut this out, as Halil, forced out of the base, will get caught, does hook shot the way back onto the fountain, but it's not enough. Formulation are going to close this game out in their characteristic Galio bot style and take the 2-0 over Mood Gaming.